Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So yet another story about Planet Fitness and the perversion that is running rampant throughout the various gyms. We've heard so many disturbing stories over the years. More recently, the one with Miss Patricia.
What the f is Planet Fitness thinking? You see that shit?
Uh-uh.
There was a biological male in the women's locker room. I guess there was a little girl in there and a lady took a picture of that biological male was trans, shaving, posted it. Planet Fitness kicked her out for taking the picture. And then somebody at the company, I was a COO or somebody, put out a statement like about, we want to create an inclusive environment right there. This is bananas after what's going on right now.
Well, this is just bananas. First of all, you shouldn't then allow children and adults in the same locker room.
I mean, this dude wants to work out at Planet Fitness, go for it.
Right.
Nobody cares. No, you're not going in the woman's locker room and shaving your neck.
Yeah, zoom in on the dude.
So this is where we're at now. And is it any wonder that perverts flock to that place, in particular in the women's locker room? And that is disgraceful. This franchise needs to go out of business, as far as I'm concerned, because they are disgusting for allowing this to get to where it's gotten to. So we have another story, a young woman walks into the bathroom. I'm not going to show the video because it's disgusting. We don't need to see that. But it's all over the internet now, all over X. And she walks into the bathroom and she can see the person in one particular stool shadow. She can see his shadow. And there's a lot of movement, put it that way. There's a lot of hand movement. Anybody can see from what, looking at the shadow, what this person is doing. And this is a man in the women's locker room. She calls her boyfriend. The staff are alerted. They walk in. There's a lot of men in the locker room at this point, but understandably so, because they're there to see what's going on and to see what they can do about it, at least. So he walks out. He walks out and has the nerve. They confront him and he has the nerve to say, "I'm allowed to be here."
Right, minors,
You guys, I was in the stall. It does not matter, bro. You're not harassing me when I'm in the stall.
you were in the women's bathroom.
I'm allowed to be in here.
And is he lying? Planet Fitness allows him to be there. That's who you're advocating for when you say that men can identify as women and use the women's bathroom freely without being challenged, walk in and out of there as they please. This is what you're advocating for. These perverts to come into the women's bathroom and do what they do. Even just being in a women's bathroom is a turn on for them. And that's what you're advocating for. When are people going to realize this? This whole protect the dolls nonsense is advocating for perverts. Once there is a policy that says a man can enter into a women's locker room based on gender identity, any man, regardless of his intentions, can go in there. So we have the young woman who's explaining what happened. I'm going to react to that. And then dig a bit deeper into why Planet Fitness is in the state it's in today.
I have no idea why all of a sudden my video is blowing up on Twitter and Instagram. This happened back in May, but I'm getting a lot of questions and stuff, and I'm just gonna answer and tell y'all how this shit went down. So pretty much I was just at the gym. I go in to use the restroom and the shower is going, because at Planet Fitness there's showers and the shower is going. Didn't think much of it.
There are women showering there. It's a shower room as well. How can anybody think this is okay? How can anyone justify this? This is where women shower.
I go out to wash my hands and the shower stops and this dude comes out, okay? Literally straight up dude. Tall and just masculine everything. And he's naked and wrapped in a towel. And he goes across into the changing room. And I was kind of just in shock and just didn't really know what to say. Like, I mind my own business, okay? I go to dry my hands, I turn back around, and I see that shadow, and I'm just like, okay, there's no way. Maybe I'm just being delusional or imagining this, I don't know. So I go back out into the gym, and about 10-15 minutes later, I come back into the bathroom and he's still doing that. Like, the shadow is still going. So I'm like, okay. So at the time, I was by myself. Both times I went to the bathroom with him, and so like I was really uncomfortable. I'm just glad it wasn't a minor that was in there and saw that. But yeah, I was pretty uncomfortable, so I called my boyfriend and showed him, and he was like, yo, what the fuck? And I think to myself, okay, yeah, no one's really gonna believe me about this, so I start recording it. Once I get that video, I go and tell the workers at the front desk. Honestly, no hate to the workers at all. They seem pretty young, and it's an odd situation. They just didn't really seem like they knew what to do.
And I wonder if she didn't catch him in the act, if the workers would have even bothered doing anything about it at all, or even taken her seriously. She just happened to catch him in the act. But if he had just finished and he was in there, people would be telling her, oh, you've got to be inclusive. Don't be a bigot. He's allowed to be there. People will be saying that. But when somebody's caught in the act doing what they're doing, and yes, she filmed because she has to get the evidence, that's when people cannot deny that this is sick. What about the times where, these guys aren't caught in the act? The women are gaslit and told, well, this is our policy, deal with it. And they're the ones who get thrown out of the gym. Think about it. This happens more than people want to admit. A woman shouldn't have to catch the guy in the act and catch it on video to be taken seriously. This should just be banned. It shouldn't be allowed. Men should not be allowed into the women's locker rooms, into the women's showers.
And so I show them the video. They show their coworkers, and they're just like, what do we do? Eventually, they follow me into the restroom to, just see this for themselves. And they knock on the door, and they're like, come out, like you see in the video, like, come out. And honestly, like I said, no hate to the workers at all, but they kind of just stood there and looked at him. Like, they didn't really do much at all. Like, they're kind of just there staring at him. And I'm just like, okay, so if y'all aren't really gonna say anything, then we're gonna say something. And so that's when my boyfriend is like, fuck this. You're making my girlfriend uncomfortable. You're a weirdo. If they're not gonna do anything, then I'm gonna do something.
And the reason why they probably froze and didn't know what to do is because the policy allows that person to be in the women's locker room. The policy allows men to be in the women's locker room. If we had a clear-cut policy, they would have known what to do straight away. You're not allowed to be here, get out, and we're calling the cops. Because it's a public place. Yes, he was in the stool or whatever, but it's a public place. And precisely why it's not permitted in a public place, because, okay, you're in a stool, but people can see your frigging shadow, dude. And people could figure out what is going on. Oh yeah, and I read a page from one of their handbooks, their Planet Fitness handbook for staff. And it literally says that discomfort is not a reason to deny somebody using the locker room based on their gender identity. Discomfort is not a good enough reason to deny somebody access. So they don't care whether women are uncomfortable. Planet Fitness, they do not care. It says it in their handbook.
And starts going off because, like, somebody needed to say something. I'm sorry. So he kept trying to say, oh, he's transgender. He was drying off.
Again, people who are advocating for this, they have allowed that label to be used as a shield for any old pervert. They can use that as a shield, claim to be transgender, or identify as a woman, whatever. That is a shield for them. Even in the video I did recently with Joey Swall calling out somebody doing this, filming themselves for OF, people were on his case because he misgendered. He didn't misgender, obviously. This is a man. And Joey rightly said, this is what this man was doing. But because of people's conditioning over the years, they've allowed these people to use that label of being transgender as a shield, to the point where people will claim that they're against them doing that and acting that way and behaving that way, but they will still defend them. It is defending the indefensible. And it leads to these situations all the time. You can't separate this incident from whatever it is you're advocating for. You cannot separate them.
And you could tell just by the way he was acting, he is guilty as. And I got the question asked to me if the labels for the men and women's locker rooms were clear. Yes, big ass sign, clear as day, men, women. And my boyfriend had went into the men's locker room and there was nobody in there.
They have clear labels, but they've made the labels useless and meaningless because of their dumb policy. You've made those labels meaningless. The whole movement all these years aimed to make those labels meaningless, pretending not to know what a woman is, trying to redefine what a woman is. That's why where we're at now.
At the end of the day, whether you're transgender or not, you should not be stroking your shit in the women's bathroom, okay? That's definitely some weirdo shit. And unfortunately, I don't have much of an update because at the time, I was just really uncomfortable, and honestly, I kind of just wanted to say my piece and get the f out of there. Looking back, I do have regrets. Like, I should have done more. I should have called the cops. I thought about it, but I was like, there's no way anything is gonna come of this. Like, people are just gonna say I'm transphobic, like.
And that's the conditioning that people have gone through, where they can't even call the cops now when they see a man doing what he was doing in the women's locker room. They think twice before calling the cops. This is public indecency, and this person has no business being allowed to get away with this.
So yes, I do have regrets looking back. I should have called the cops. I don't know what would have been done if I could have pressed charges or anything. But yeah, I do have regrets. Like I said, this was back in May, so I don't know if it's too late now, but yeah. All that did happen was the day after the owner of Planet Fitness called me and just kind of like condemned me for doing what I did. He just said I was really brave and like apologized and all that stuff, and that's pretty much all that happened. Like, there was no charges pressed.
So the manager calls her and commends her for taking a stand against this. But what is being done? Nothing. No charges have been pressed. This person was doing what he was doing in the women's bathroom, and in the very least, it needed to be investigated by the cops.
I don't know if that was even a possibility, but yeah, that's what went down, guys. Thank you all for your support. And yeah, God bless.
Planet Fitness appointed Colleen Keating as CEO in 2024. And what's her priority? Inclusion. Keating instituted mandatory inclusivity training for all employees and implemented hiring through a DEI lens. She also pledged to abide by the CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion pledge, which states that she must inject various DEI policies into her company, such as unconscious bias training. We've instituted mandatory inclusive leadership training for all people, leaders, and DEI training for all employees. So Colleen has work to do. If she wants Planet Fitness to be considered a safe space for women and little girls, she's got a lot of work to do. So far, this thing is running rampant in that company. We've heard about OF people making content. Joey Swole has done a few videos on it. We've even heard about women just casually walking into the men's with their friends, hanging out in there.
I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
So this man, Josh, was on a break from work, decided to grab a workout at Planet Fitness, and when he was done, he went to take a shower before going back to work. When he walked in the locker room, he saw this woman sitting on a bench in front of his locker, filming those two guys. This made him and everyone in there very uncomfortable. So he went and told the front desk, and the staff did nothing. So he went back in, pretended to take a video flexing so he had some evidence. As he was walking out, some words were exchanged, and he got in a shoving match with those two guys. He called the police, they came, they made a case, and he's going to press charges. No man or woman should ever have to feel uncomfortable in their locker room, changing, showering, or whatever they have to do. As soon as he told the front desk, the staff should have kicked those three out immediately. Planet Fitness, you need to do better.
So, yeah, if you want this place to be taken seriously again, you're going to have to make sure that the words men and women mean what they mean. If you're male or female, those are the facilities that you're allowed to use based on your biological sex, not gender identity. Enough of this already. And until then, I will never step foot in a Planet Fitness ever again. And I know for a fact there are many women who feel the same. There are many husbands, fathers, grandfathers who feel the same, who will not step foot in a Planet Fitness. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.